A world in which every fear has a physical, demonic form. Just how strong is the greatest fear? Such as Chainsaw Man, a show in which amongst its plethora of phenomenal characters are devils representing our deepest, darkest fears. But do you ever wonder which fear is the most powerful? Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today, we present, rank, and explain all the devils that appear in Chainsaw Man Season 1. But before we begin, please consider liking and subscribing to this channel and ring the bell to be notified of any latest updates. Getting on with the topic, first, allow me to explain a bit about the power system in place here before we get to the heart of it. In this fantastical realm, all devils exist and possess power in correlation to the fear associated with their name. So, for example, the gun devil, which is a symbol of death, is much stronger than, say, the tomato devil. Who the heck here is afraid of a scary tomato? Devils consume blood to replenish strength and heal wounds. And if that wasn't enough plot armor, they can't even die. Not literally, at least. If killed on Earth, they just reappear in Hell or vice versa. There's only one specific condition which, if killed, they die forever. But I won't give you that answer just yet, so stick around until the end to find out. Number 14, Sea Cucumber Devil. With that clear, let's start off with the first and consequently the weakest to appear in Season 1 of the series, the Sea Cucumber Devil. With a purple, gooey, cylindrical body and an opening on top, it's covered with fingers and has a human skull instead of a face. And like all devils, it too is a bloodthirsty monster hunting humans for food. Despite having nothing special going on for him, the Sea Cucumber Devil does have some above-average might. A hunter armed with a sword couldn't beat it alone. But that soon wasn't the case, as Power and Denji made it onto the scene, with the former wasting no time and ending the devil with a single blow from her blood hammer. So it was lacking in the strength department, and for a good reason. I mean, who was afraid of a cucumber? Number 13, Tomato Devil. And as the name suggests, it's a very tomato-looking thing except for eyeballs and a mouth. It moves or walks on 8 humanoid arms protruding from its base, and it has a large mouth in the middle of its body. The only significance this one holds is that Tomato Devil was the first to be slain by my boy Denji. Right off the bat, he started Pochita's chainsaw and made tomato kebabs out of the thing. A notable thing to mention here is that once killed, the Tomato Devil can revive because of its seeds, so the seeds have to be burned to avoid this. Of course, this also introduces the possibility of devils reviving without needing blood. Number 12, Fish Devil. Next up, we have the Fish Devil, a giant fish with 2 tails at its rear. The only thing remotely scary about this one is its 6 mechanical legs. Honestly, little is known about the devil since it first appeared bested by Aki Hayakawa in episode 5. Aki extracted a piece of the gun devil's flesh, which the devil hunters were collecting, from its rotting carcass. While fear of fish is practically non-existent, the gun devil's flesh granted some serious strength to it, though still proved no match for our favorite devil hunters. Number 11, Zombie Devil. Heading over to a serious one, here comes the Zombie Devil. With a limbless torso and a face at the right side of its torso, bare organs, and tentacles extending from his exposed brain used to control his servants, the Zombie Devil is a truly grotesque image. Despite being uglier, it does show signs of intelligence, tricking the Yakuza into forging a contract, making them all his thralls. I'd take brains over looks any day, but this is a lot of creepy to take in. Zombie Devil makes its first appearance in episode 1, commanding the Yakuza under his control to kill Denji, given his hatred towards devil hunters. However, when Pochita becomes the latter's heart, he counterattacks his Chainsaw Man and shreds the vile-looking thing straight to hell. But despite the Zombie Devil's death, some of his undead slaves remain, revealed in later arcs, suggesting he is still alive. Number 10, Bat Devil. And with that, we have covered all the weaklings. Now we pick up the pace with Bat Devil. He, with his enormous humanoid body, wings, and bat-like face, makes his appearance in episode 3. Injured, he takes Meowie, Power's cat, hostage and asks her to bring him a human in exchange. Being emotionally attached to the feline, she is left with no choice, hence lures Denji to him. The Bat Devil uses the latter's blood to heal himself. Finding it disgusting, he eats Meowie and Power in the act of betrayal, flying away to find a human to remove the foul taste from his mouth. The Bat Devil is powerful enough to punch through walls and can form a cannon with his mouth, producing blasts of air strong enough to demolish buildings. Yet he proved bested against our boy Denji, who, in an enraged state, battled and completely butchered him. However, someone else was watching, and she didn't like that. Number 9. Leech Devil. As soon as Bat Devil falls, his girlfriend shows up in episode 4, hungering for revenge. Initially, she considers sparing Denji because he is cute and plans to kill only Power and her cat. However, the former refuses to back down and a bloody battle ensues. The Leech Devil is incredibly strong and has an extremely sharp tongue, successfully piercing it straight through Denji's chest. Fortunately for everyone, the rest of the gang shows up and Aki, with a very swift move, obliterates Leech Devil using his Fox Devil. Number 8. Curse Devil. And speaking of Foxy, who we'll get into shortly, another one of Aki's quite powerful devils is the Curse Devil. The nightmare fuel looking thing is a skeleton with 2 heads and horns. One skull is human, while the other has 3 eye spaces and larger teeth. Despite the strength it brings, the Curse Devil is a very double-edged sword, as it, as payment, asks for a big chunk of the user's lifespan. So Aki only keeps it as a last resort. And such was the case during his battle with Katana Man, when every glimmer of hope seemed to fade away. In a desperate attempt to save everyone, Aki skewers Katana Man thrice with his Curse Spike. This completes the requirements and the devil appears, crushing and biting his enemy until he's rendered incapable of battle. Number 7. Ghost Devil. Continuing the crazy train, we have another creepy one, the Ghost Devil. In contrast with the legendary waifu, Miss Himeno, the Ghost Devil's invisible arms make its first appearance in episode 5 when she uses it to force Power into listening to her. This contract allows her to utilize its right arm in exchange for her right eye. Though, in the battle that ensued in episode 8, Himeno witnessed her comrades on the brink of death. In order to save them, she sacrificed her entire body so that the complete Ghost Devil could take form. Though it proved fruitless, it was quickly bested at the hands of Snake Devil. Nevertheless, Himeno may be gone, but she won't be forgotten. Back to the devil at hand, a very noteworthy characteristic of the Ghost Devil is that despite having no eyes, it can sense fear and locate opponents using that. This, however, has its drawbacks, as later on in the series, Aki very casually walks atop the devil and puts a blade inside it. Number 6. Eternity Devil. Moving on, we have the Eternity Devil. Usually, it wouldn't pose much of a threat, but given that it has absorbed a piece of Gun Devil's body, the might that came with it gave our devil hunters a tough time. In episode 6, the gang finds itself trapped within its pocket dimension. This, essentially, is the devil's stomach, and it's impossible to escape from this never-ending fleshy space. The demand is Denji in exchange for the freedom of the rest. Hearing this, some succumb to the despair and even try to kill him. Witnessing the team breaking apart, Denji makes a gut decision and dives headfirst into the devil's mouth in the craziest manner. Starting up his chainsaw, he relentlessly shreds and cuts the devil's massive body, causing it to scream in agony. And after 3 continuous days of fighting, it begs Denji to finish it, as he does. Number 5. Fox Devil. Alrighty, now we slowly head to the season's big shots, the first of which is the very majestic Fox Devil. Partnered with Aki, she has a very friendly disposition towards humans and hence offers assistance to several devil hunters. Aki Hayakawa is one of them and often utilizes her strength to fend off foes. Like in the Bat Devil arc, Aki summoned Fox Devil, who, in a mere instant, ate Leech Devil's head up. Another instance was during his battle against Katana Man, when the majestic fox appeared again and ate the man up. Unfortunately, the foe proved a bit too powerful this time and cut right through Fox Devil. This also damaged the contract between her and Aki, leading the latter to search for another devil. Number 4. Snake Devil. Next up is the tremendously powerful Snake Devil, who is yet to be bested. Formerly partnered with Sawatari, Snake Devil is a huge monster with arms and hands in place of its teeth. It can consume other devils and release them from its body, making the now fully healed victim devil fight in its place. A very neat trick. Snake Devil debuted in the epic battle between Katana Man and the Devil Hunters. Seeing the Ghost Devil taking hold of her ally, Sawatari sacrificed her fingernail to summon the beast, who swallowed Ghost Devil whole in a mere instant. Though following her arrest later on, the Snake Devil kills her, presumably as part of their contract. Number 3. Control Devil. After that, we have Makima, aka the Control Devil. The first devil to have appeared in a human form. Denji doesn't count since he's a hybrid. She recruits Denji into the public safety department as her dog. Don't know about you, but that's some sick stuff. Nevertheless, she remains an integral part of the show and only debuts her power when everything goes crazy. With Denji captured and a handful of public safety devil hunters assassinated, she is left with no choice but to get her hands dirty. Sacrificing death row inmates, she activates her powers and, from another city, crushes Denji's captors inside out. The poor souls didn't even have time to process what in the hell had happened to them. Number 2. Gun Devil. Moving on comes the runner-up to this ranking. With a torso of skulls, guns for arms, bullets for legs, sharp teeth, and a revolver on its head, Gun Devil is by far one of the strongest to exist. 13 years before the main timeline, this monstrosity made its first appearance, and within 5 minutes ended up killing a total of 1.2 million people in multiple countries. Crazy! No wonder everyone is afraid of guns. But wait, there's more. It did all that, but with 20% of its strength. That's insane. The Gun Devil wields incredible strength, amazing speed, and an extraordinary level of durability. Due to constant wear and tear, bullet-like pieces of its flesh often fall off its body. These, when consumed by other devils, significantly increase their power. Number 1. Chainsaw Devil. And here comes the most powerful devil of the series, Chainsaw Devil. And I'm not talking about Denji and his Chainsaw Man form, but Pochita himself. This little dog came into Denji's life hurt, and after Denji helped Pochita by giving some of his blood, the two formed an instant connection. But it was never disclosed where he came from or who he actually is at the start of the series. Now, I don't want you to get spoiled, so here's a fair warning. Pochita, in Hell, acted as its warden, protecting the weaker devils against the bullies. The significance of him being the strongest is proved by the fact that if killed at the hands of Chainsaw Devil, no devil revives and is lost forever. Take it from a Chainsaw Man connoisseur. You ain't ready for what's behind that door. There you have it, folks. All of the devils in Chainsaw Man that have appeared this far and all of their powers explained. I am sure you have found some of your favorite devils on the list. And if you have not seen this masterpiece yet and are intrigued by a certain devil, then you should know exactly what to do. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching!